Hello and welcome to Design OS. In this video, we'll be going through the process of adding an external database to your Figma designs. So as you can see here, I have a very simple design for looking up a score for your favorite football team. And as you can see, I have already set up the way that I want my UI to look. Now we can go ahead and try to add data to our UI. So here we have a few data points that we would want to add. The first one is the competition, that is which specific competition the team is playing in. The next two are the team 1 and the team 2, so which two teams will be playing. And also we have these two ellipses which will be showing the badges of the two teams. We also have the date and the time. So now you might have a question that why would we want to add an external database instead of just adding the data straight into our file? So the answer to that is quite simple. The data that we would want to add from an external file can be edited by a lot more people than the people who know Figma. For example, if we talk about in an organization, your product managers and your developers would be much more comfortable in working in Google Sheets rather than going ahead and learning Figma. That's why we would want to add all of these data points into our Google Sheet as well. So let's go ahead and go over to our Google Sheet. You can get to Google Sheets by going over to sheets.google.com, and then you can go ahead and click on an empty sheet to get to this place. So now we can add all of our data points. So our first data points were team 1 and team 2. The next one was date, then time, then image 1, which would be the image of team 1 or the badge of team 1. Next we have image 2, and last we have competitions. Now we can go ahead and start adding data to our Google Sheet. So the first team that will be playing is Man United. The second team that will be playing is Chelsea, and the date will be today. Time will be 10 p.m. And we can go ahead and add the links to these images. So these are images from Wikipedia, and we can go ahead and add that. And finally, the competition will be Premier League and Matchday 19. Similar to this, we can go ahead and add more and more data to our Google Sheet. So I'll just go ahead and copy the data and paste it over here. Now we can go ahead and get back to Figma, and we can go ahead and click on plugins and go to browse plugins and community. This will take us to this page. In the search the Figma community bar, we'll go ahead and type sheets, and we would want to install the plugin called Google Sheets Sync. So as I've already installed it, you can go ahead and click on install. It will take just a second. Now let's head back to Figma. We can go ahead and run our plugin by going over to plugins and clicking on Google Sheets Sync. Now once the plugin pops up, it will ask you for a link to be pasted here. So let's go ahead and go back to our Google Sheets. And in here, we can go to this top right button and click on share. And from here, we can go ahead and click on copy link. Make sure that this property is set to anyone with the link, and then go ahead and copy this link, and let's head back to Figma and paste our link there. Now what we would want to do is hit fetch. Now we can go ahead and click on our first layer or our first data item, which is team 1, and then click on team 1 inside of our plugin. So as you can see, it says rename current layer to hashtag team 1, which is what we would want to do. We would want to rename this particular layer to hashtag team 1 so that our plugin knows that this particular layer is where we would want to paste this data. So let's go ahead and click on team 1 inside of our plugin, which will change the name of our layer to hashtag team 1. And as you can see, that changes it to hashtag team 1. Similarly, we'll go ahead and click on team 2, click this, date, time, and then ellipse 2 is image 1. So we'll go ahead and change that to hashtag image 1, and then ellipse 3 is image 2, and finally you have competitions, which should be hashtag competitions. Now we can go ahead and select our entire group of match, and we can go ahead and hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, push it down a little, make sure it's spaced correctly, and then keep on hitting Ctrl D. So now we have 5 matches and all these layers are named correctly. So all these layers have hashtag team 1, hashtag team 2, and so on. Now if we go ahead and click on sync inside of our plugin, let's see what happens. And as you can see, all of our data has now been input into our layers. And if we go ahead and select our layers again, you will see that all of them still have the same hashtag names. So if we want to go ahead and go back to our plugin and go back to Google Sheets as well and change something. So let's say Man United will be playing Liverpool instead of Chelsea. And now if I go ahead and click share, make sure all the changes are saved, go back to Figma and hit fetch and sync, you'll see that Chelsea has now been updated to Liverpool. And that is how you add an external database to your designs inside of Figma. This sheet over here is much easier for people to edit who don't really have any particular knowledge about Figma. And now this Figma file is also much easier for a designer to edit if you don't know what exact data you will be editing for. So thank you so much for watching. Let us know down in the comments below if you enjoyed this video and if you learned something new today, and let us know what other types of videos you would want to see on this channel.